vlogs, welcome to a new video. It's been a while since the last time I posted. I do apologize for that. I've unfortunately been in a horrible reading slump for a long time. I haven't read basically anything in months. I just kind of forgot how to read, so it's been difficult to make content about books that I read when I don't know how to read any longer. But I know that reading slumps are kind of a common problem, so I thought I would make this video to kind of show myself dragging myself out of this reading slump, and maybe it's relatable and fun for you guys. Try to make this video a little cuter than my other videos. I know that the girlies really like, you know, aesthetic reading vlogs, but my life is just not like that, unfortunately, and nobody's life is like that, so I mean, I can't be too hard on myself for that. But you know, the last video I made was pretty rough. I was having a pretty rough time, and I actually have an unposted video that I was gonna post like the week after, in which my life is going considerably worse. I made this reading vlog during probably the most stressful week of my entire life. That's not an exaggeration, and I'm stressed often. But as I was watching back the footage, I was like, this is sad. Like, this is depressing, looking at me just being so unbelievably stressed. There was this part I was trying to talk about my TBR, all the books that I was going to be reading, and I was so tense that I like wasn't moving at all. And I talk a lot with my hands and stuff, so it was just like, it was really sad. I just have a lot of things going on that are not going well, you know? I'm about like half an inch away from a complete breakdown right now. Like, I am teetering on the little knife's edge, and it's starting to hurt. But the other book that I'm going to be looking at is Learning to Die in the Anthropocene. I was having a really bad week. I'll tell you a little bit about it. You might remember from my previous reading vlog that I did post that I had to apply for my concentration within my major, and I didn't know that because my advisor, Kimberly, did not see fit to tell me until it was more than immediately necessary. Like, I should have done it last semester, and she told me in basically too late, almost like on the edge of too late, she told me that I needed to apply for it, because if I applied for it and did not get in, I would not be able to graduate on time. And if I had applied for it this semester earlier, I would have had that one semester buffer. But because she didn't tell me that I needed to apply for it, it was like, if I didn't get in immediately on this first time applying, I would not get to graduate on time. So that was really frustrating. And at this point, whenever I was making the reading vlog that I didn't post, it had been about 3 weeks since I had submitted that application, and I hadn't heard anything. I hadn't gotten a confirmation that they'd even received it. So I was kind of freaking out, you know? I was kind of thinking, okay, I must have typoed the email address, even though I checked it. I must have not gotten, like, they didn't receive my application, or they're just rejecting me, and like, I'm not gonna get to graduate on time. So just great. And then another thing was that I was applying for an internship, and I needed a letter of recommendation, and I had asked my professor earlier to submit one, and it was the day before the letter of recommendation was due, and I noticed that he still hadn't submitted it. So I emailed him. I was like, hi, I noticed that you still haven't submitted my letter of recommendation. Can you please do that before it's due? And he has not replied. Even now, months later, he has not replied to that email. So, and I had just interviewed for an internship, and I was waiting to hear back from that. And I thought the interview went really badly. So I was anxious waiting to hear back from that. But there was this moment where that day that I made the video that I didn't post, I was driving to go look at an apartment that I was gonna consider renting next semester, and there's the street outside my current apartment has like 5 red lights just along it, and there's construction on it, so the timing of the lights got a bit messed up when they had to like turn off the lights and turn them back on. And so I got stopped at every single red light on the way, and I was so frustrated and stressed and angry that I just almost started crying like the second time it happened. Then it happened 3 more times, so I was really just on the verge of a horrible breakdown. And it is like kind of funny in retrospect, but watching it on the video was not funny at all. It was just not even a little bit cute. So I have been reading on audiobook. I've been listening to The Luminous Dead by Caitlin something. Caitlin, it starts with an S, but I don't quite remember what it is. And it's been very good so far. I'm like 65% of the way through, basically like 2/3 of the way through. It is about this girl. It's a sci-fi kind of, but not a super heavy sci-fi. I think it takes place on a planet other than Earth, but it doesn't really matter. I don't know what I'm trying to say. And so on the planet where it takes place, there's like a very intricate cave system underground, and the main character is a cave explorer who is trying to earn enough money to leave her shitty home planet. Kind of sounds familiar. And so she takes this job that's pretty dangerous, and she kind of, lies on her resume to get the job. She lies about how much experience she has. And the whole story is just her in this cave, talking to the woman who is running the expedition from on the surface from her little computer. And they have, I heard a rumor that there was a romance between them. I'm starting to get, the vibes. The main character Jaire's kind of putting down the vibes, but I mean, nothing's happened. Obviously Jaire's underground. I don't really like the love interest. I like her sometimes, but I also think she's a bad person. So I probably wouldn't date her, but good for you for dating a bad person. And it's been, as the story's getting on, it's getting more and more creepy because the main character is getting farther and farther into the cave system, and there are these, I haven't seen one yet. I assume it's like a Chekhov's gun situation where you introduce something to the story, you have to use it at the end. I assume the monsters in the cave are going to make an appearance at some point, just because I don't think they would be in the story if they didn't. But I haven't seen one yet, but there are monsters in the cave. So that adds an extra level of creepiness, because at any point she could just get chopped. And I guess that could happen to anyone, anywhere, but And it's been getting really good. At the beginning I was like, oh, this is fine, but it's getting really good closer to the end, because the main character Jaire is kind of starting to lose it. And actually I don't know if she's losing it, because it might be real, but but she's kind of starting to feel the effects of the stress and the fear of just being in this claustrophobic area for, it's been a week or so. She's been just in this cave exploring, and it's there's really harsh rocks and just places to fall. It's very easy to just fucking die in this cave, so she's starting to feel that. But also, there are monsters in the cave, and so it is possible that she's seeing stuff that she thinks are hallucinations, but maybe they're real. I've been really enjoying it so far. Hopefully I'll finish it today or tomorrow. That would just be great for my Goodreads if I finally finished a book. And I guess now is a good time to tell you about the books that I'm planning to read in order to drag myself out of this pit of reading slump. I'm planning to reread Six of Crows. I think that'll be kind of a fun way to get back into the swing of things. It's it's low stakes because I already know what happens, but it's also good because I know that I like the story and I like the characters. And recently I've been watching the Shadow and Bone TV series, so it's kind of on the mind. And so I think that'll be fun to reread. I feel like everybody and their mom already knows what Six of Crows is, but on the off chance that you don't, Six of Crows is a book about six teenagers, six little delinquents who are going to pull off a heist in a very highly secured area, and there's also a magic system in the background. That was a really bad explanation, but basically that's what the story is about. It's very good and I like it. And I went to the bookstore the other day. Haven't been in a long time because books are so expensive. Okay, first of all, the audiobook that I'm reading is from the library, and a lot of the books that I haven't been reading that many books, but I have been perusing the library's website in the illusion that one day I will read a book. Because my local library has a website database where you can borrow books, and it's a godsend. And I went to a Barnes & Noble the other day, and every book is like $18 fucking. One of the books I got is Furyborn by Claire Legrand. And this is embarrassing. I started reading this book through my library, and they give you 2 weeks to read the book. And I did not finish it. I read the first chapter and I was like, this is good. And then I didn't read anymore. I can't really tell you what it's about at this point, but hopefully further into the video, I will be able to explain to you the premise of this book. And the second book that I bought was The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. I've heard a lot about this book on book Twitter, and it sounds really good. From what I understand, it's a dark academia book. With a bit more diversity is what people on Twitter were telling me, because we all know that a lot of the dark academia books are not very diverse. So it's great that this one allegedly is. I can't tell you what this one's about, but hopefully further into the video I will be able to do that for you. So yeah, that's what's been going on with me. That's what I'm gonna be reading, what I'm currently reading. Today we're going to the farmer's market, which I think will be fun and cute. If it doesn't rain, it's starting to look like it kind of will. But I think that'll make for a great aesthetic reading vlog. Hi, so I finished The Luminous Dead. It was very good. It started out kind of alright, you know, it was like fine in the beginning, but it got really good, especially toward the end. I was on the edge of my seat. It was very scary. I think you might be able to categorize it as like a horror book, but basically what it is I think I already explained a little bit, but so I'll just kind of give you an overview of So the character is exploring this cave system for the entire book. The entire time she's down in this cave, and the only person with her is the person who is on the surface, who is like watching over her, and she can hear her in her earpiece. And so it's very like she's very isolated, and things just start getting creepy and weird, and it's very good. I'm explaining it very badly, but it gets so creepy at the end because you're not sure if it's real or if she's just kind of losing it because she hasn't seen another person in a week. I'm very scared of, okay, so a little bit of a roundabout point. I actually have a fear of the ocean. Like, I'm terrified of the big open ocean. It really scares me, and I think it's gonna sound weird, but I'm gonna explain it later. I think that fear kind of carries over into the cave system fear, you know? I think that my fear of the ocean is more so a fear of depth, you know, like deep, dark places. And the cave is kind of similar to the ocean in that way. So I found it very scary. at a lot of parts, and if you are like me, you probably will also find it scary at a lot of parts. Just the idea of being in this enormous dark place where there could be anything, but it's just dark and you can't see anything, like that really scares me. Yeah, it was really good. And there is a little bit of LGBT rep thrown in there. It's not a huge part of the story, but it is in there, which is more than a lot of books can say. So I enjoyed that aspect. I thought it was fun. I thought it was cool. And overall, yeah, I had a great time with this book. And I'm gonna start rereading Six of Crows today. So I've already read it, and probably you have too if you're on BookTube or you've at least heard of it. It's a good one, and I'm hoping that it will help me to kickstart my re-entry into reading, because I've been in a horrible reading slump. So I'm hoping that this will help me to get back into the swing of things, because it's low stakes. I know what happens. I know I like it. I don't have to worry about whether or not it'll be bad, because I already know what it is. So I'm gonna be starting with that today. Cheers. Okay, so I am about halfway through Six of Crows. Yeah, I mean, it's good. I've read it before. You've probably read it before. It's a good book, and I really like it. My favorite character is probably Inej, always. I love her. And I'm always a little bit iffy about Matthias is what, okay, so I'm switching between reading the physical book and listening to an audiobook, because I'm doing my little crochet while I'm listening to the audiobook, so that's kind of nice. But the audiobook is so bad sometimes. The guy who voices Kaz's chapters is just trying like 70% too hard. And at some points they don't even really try to pronounce things correctly. Like they keep saying Jan Vanek, and it's like, you could at least say Jan. It's not that hard, and it really draws me out of the audiobook whenever you just pronounce someone's name wrong. Circling back to what I was saying, I actually completely lost my point, so I don't know if I'm circling back. I have always been a little bit torn on Matthias's character, because I like him as a character. I do like Matthias as a character because I like the way that his character is dealing with the effects of indoctrination and unlearning his identity, and I think that he's very interesting in that sense. Appreciate this, that the author is taking time to show that this person can unlearn that identity and can become better. But I don't like Matthias and Nina being so quick to romance, you know what I mean? Because they go from hating each other and wanting to kill each other to romance kind of not even, there's even like a Venn diagram of when they want to kill each other and when they're romantically involved. And I understand that enemies to lovers is a big thing, but I feel like the whole oppressor ex-oppressed is a little different than enemies to lovers, you know? Like the vibes are different, and I feel like they should have a period of friendship before they ever become romantically involved. Like I feel like their enemies to lovers arc, because they're not enemies, they are straight up person who is being persecuted and persecutor, you know, persecutor and persecutee. That's different than enemies to lovers, but I'm gonna come down from that. I feel like they need to have a longer arc in order for me to believe their romance, you know? Like I feel like Matthias needs to first recognize Nina as a human being, and then recognize her worth as a human being, become friends with her, learn to respect her, and then they can fall in love slowly after that. Because I think there's a quote in Crooked Kingdom, and I'll try to find it for you and put it on the screen. I'm pretty sure there's a quote in Crooked Kingdom where he says that he's still having trouble viewing viewing Nina as a person and viewing Nina's people as human beings. And it's like, then why are you trying to fuck her? I don't understand Nina's perspective, because how can you fuck someone who doesn't view you as a human being? And that just doesn't compute for me, and I don't get it. But I think that it could be a really powerful arc if they first have a long period of learning to respect each other, especially Matthias respecting Nina. If they first learn to respect each other and learn to value each other as friends, and then maybe at the tail end of Crooked Kingdom, they can start to be romantically involved. Because I just feel like it's too fast. Like, he's in love with her, but he also doesn't view her as a person. And I understand how that can be complex, and like that's an interesting thing for a character to go through. But then why would Nina be attracted to him if she knows that he doesn't view her people as human beings? Like, I don't get it. I do see why people like their relationship. Personally, I think it needs to be more of a slow burn. It's been kind of fun to read Six of Crows now that I have also read Shadow and Bone, because I'm noticing the little Easter eggs in there that I didn't notice whenever I read Six of Crows the first time, because I hadn't read Shadow and Bone. So that's really cute. Like, Inaj, one of her knives is named after Alina, and I think that's a fun little detail. And they talk about Zoya and Nikolai, and it's like, I know who those people are. That's so crazy. Hi, just got back from the gym, so this is what my hair looks like. I thought I would show you my lunch before I go take a shower. I made my lunch. It is chia pudding with some fruit on top, very yummy. Chia pudding and some protein powder mixed in there because I'm trying to get some gains this summer. Trying to get big and strong. Anyway, I didn't read anything yesterday, so that's unfortunate, but I'm hoping to finish Six of Crows tonight, so just an update. So I finished Six of Crows. It was good the second time, you know, it's still good. I still really like it. Inaj is my favorite. Nina, I love Nina. And I decided at the end, you know what? I do like Matthias. I do. I can't deny any longer that he is a good character. And I really like his arc in the Six of Crows book. He has a very nice arc and a very powerful arc, and I really appreciate that. I do still think his relationship with Nina is a little weird. I think that maybe Matthias needs to do some self-reflection and work on himself before entering that relationship. But as a character, I like Matthias. He becomes a better person at the end of the book, and he takes active steps to make himself better. It's not like he just... Because I think it would have been very easy for him to just fall in love with Nina and that makes him better. But he actually has to take an active role in bettering himself at the end of the book. And I do really appreciate that. But still, I think his relationship with Nina is kind of used as a way to maybe give him an inclination or a motivation to wanting to be better. And that's not necessarily bad, but I think it would have been a more powerful arc if he just made that decision for himself, or if he and Nina were friends and not like dating, and then he made that decision. So it's not like love saves all, it's more of him making a conscious choice to be better. And I want to say that I also like Kuwei. He's kind of an easy character to brush over or forget about in the series, and I feel like a lot of people do forget about him or just not mention him, but I think he's fun, and I think he is criminally underdeveloped. Like, we know so much about Kaz and the Six Crows, but we don't know fucking anything about Kuwei. And even in Crooked Kingdom, because obviously he's like barely in Six of Crows, but in Crooked Kingdom he doesn't really get the same attention from the narrative that the six main characters do, and that's fine because he's not a main character. But I think it would have been cool if he became like the seventh main character and then he got development, and we got to learn about his relationship with his dad and his grieving process and his relationship with his power and his relationship with science and everything, because he could be such an interesting character, but he's just kind of there. And then he has this one interaction with Jesper in Crooked Kingdom. If you've read it, you know what I'm talking about, but I won't spoil it. And it's just like, hey, maybe don't do that. As a character, I think he's kind of fun. We don't really know very much about Shuhan in general, and we don't know about their culture or history or anything, and we know a lot about the other countries. So I think it would have been an opportunity to also give us some development in the world building if we gave Kuwei some development, and then Shuhan can be more of an interesting place because it's just kind of there. And in the TV show, Alina is part Shu, and she's never been to Shuhan, so she also doesn't give us any development on Shuhan. I decided today that I probably will read Ruin and Rising soon. I was kind of putting it off because I didn't want to read it. But I decided that I will. I decided that I'll do it soon. I'll look through my local library's little database and see when I can read it. I just don't like Shadow and Bone as much as I like Six of Crows. I just think the writing and the characters are a little bit worse. Sorry, like I've said that in other videos, and I don't think it's necessarily a controversial opinion. I still like the series. I just think it's not as good, and that makes me want to read it less.